Welcome to day one. Seriously, as your mentor, I just want to be the absolute first to officially welcome you to your new professional role as a software developer. You already know how to write code that works, right? I mean, you've totally proven that to get here. But in this explainer, we're going to transition you from writing code that simply works on your local machine to writing code that actually scales across an entire organization. Because when you join a professional team, you're stepping into code bases with literally thousands of lines of code written by dozens of people over several years. It's a whole different ballgame. So to survive and really thrive in that environment, we need to master some professional coding standards together. So here's our day one onboarding roadmap. We'll cover 1. Coding for humans first. 2. Naming, formatting, and SRP. 3. Security, stability, and troubleshooting. 4. Meaningful commits and reviews. 5. Automation tools for quality. And finally, 6. The clean code checklist. Let's jump right in. Section 1, Coding for Humans First. This is the big mindset shift for professional developers. Okay, so the absolute crucial point to wrap your head around is our golden rule. Code is written for humans first and computers second. I see a lot of beginners focusing entirely on the machine. But here's the thing. Computers honestly don't care if your code is ugly or poorly organized or just visually confusing. They're going to execute it all the same. Your teammates, however, they absolutely do care. If you write this brilliant, genius feature today, but it's completely unreadable and someone else has to fix a bug in it 6 months from now, or worse, if future you has to fix it, that confusing code just becomes technical debt. There's actually an old developer joke that says you should always code as if the person who ends up maintaining your code will be a violent psychopath who knows where you live. So professional developers always prioritize clarity over cleverness. If your team can understand your code quickly, your code is incredibly valuable. Section 2. Naming, formatting, and SRP. Getting into the daily keystrokes of clean code. There's just a really stark contrast between amateur and professional naming conventions. Think about poor names like X, Temp1, or Data123. When you use those, you're basically forcing the reader to play detective. You're making your teammates guess what the data actually represents. Clear names, on the other hand, like student name, total marks, or user email, well, they're self-documenting. A good variable or function name immediately communicates its exact purpose and just totally avoids ambiguity. By using descriptive names, you are drastically reducing the mental effort required for someone else, or again, future you, to read and understand your logic. It's a game changer. And the exact same principle applies to how your code visually flows. Moving from messy, crammed logic to perfectly spaced code isn't just about making it look pretty, it's entirely about structure. Consistent indentation visually represents the logical flow of your application. Without strict indentation, nested logic just becomes an absolute nightmare to follow. When code is cleanly formatted and consistently spaced, finding bugs becomes significantly easier, simply because your eyes can quickly scan and understand the hierarchy of those code blocks. Next up, we really have to talk about how we structure our functions, which brings us to a core rule for better system design, the Single Responsibility Principle, or SRP. As a junior developer, one of these single best habits you can build right now is keeping your functions small. A function should do exactly one thing, and it should do it really well. Large, sprawling functions that try to handle data fetching and validation and rendering all at the exact same time, they become almost impossible to test and truly terrifying to maintain. By keeping components super focused on a single task, you massively improve the scalability of the entire application. And sitting right alongside SRP is the DRY principle. Don't repeat yourself. As a professional, you must actively eliminate code duplication. Just imagine for a second you copy and paste the exact same block of validation logic into 10 different files. Well, if a bug is discovered in that logic a month later, guess what? You now have to hunt down and fix that exact same bug 10 separate times. No thanks. By creating single, reusable functions and modules, you reduce your maintenance, you prevent bugs, and you keep the whole system architecture clean. Section 3, Security, Stability, and Troubleshooting. How we protect your code in production. Now listen closely here because security can never, ever be an afterthought. The literal second your code hits production, people are going to try to break it. So the golden rule of security is to just assume all user input is malicious. Implementing strict input validation is your very first line of defense to prevent massive vulnerabilities. If you expect a number, you verify it's a number. If you expect an email, validate that format. Combine this with rigorous authentication checks and secure password storage, and you ensure you aren't just leaving the front door wide open for attackers. But look, even with perfect security, unexpected things are going to happen. Systems fail, it's a fact of life. When they do, professional applications handle errors gracefully rather than just crashing unexpectedly on the user. The standard troubleshooting pipeline involves validating operations gracefully, generating meaningful error messages, using structured logging, and implementing recovery mechanisms. Crucially, I want to highlight that third point. Use structured logging. We don't just rely on simple print statements anymore. Structured logging is your primary debugger tool for troubleshooting production issues. It's what helps us monitor systems, detect failures, and figure out exactly what went wrong without completely shutting down the user's entire experience. The other side of that stability coin is testing. Modifying enterprise software without unit tests is honestly absolutely terrifying because you never know what distant feature you might accidentally break. Unit tests verify the correctness of your code in isolation. By writing focused tests, rigorously checking those weird edge cases, maintaining high test coverage, and automating their execution, we build a safety net. This ensures that when you or one of your teammates add a shiny new feature, you have mathematical confidence that all the existing features still work perfectly. Section 4, Meaningful Commits and Reviews. Shipping code as a collaborative team. This whole collaboration thing starts with version control, specifically Git. Vague commit messages like update, fix, or changes provide absolutely zero context. If a system breaks and a senior developer is digging through the Git history trying to find out when the bug was introduced, those vague messages are completely useless. Instead, standard professional practice requires clear, descriptive messages. Things like fix login validation bug or add password reset functionality, messages that actually describe the exact changes made. Clear history communication will save your entire team literally hours of confusion and frantic investigation. Once your code is committed, it goes to code review. And I really want to emphasize this heavily as your mentor right now. Please do not be intimidated by code reviews. They are not criticisms of you or your coding abilities. They are a collaborative safety net. Before your code becomes part of the main project, another developer is going to review it to identify bugs, check style guidelines, and verify security. But more importantly, it's an amazing tool for knowledge sharing. Submitting code for peer review is hands down the fastest way for you to learn the project's unique architecture from your senior peers. And speaking of knowledge sharing, we have to document our work. Large projects require crystal clear documentation guidelines. As a new developer, you know firsthand how frustrating it is to set up a new project from scratch. By maintaining detailed project setup instructions, comprehensive API documentation, high-level architecture diagrams, and step-by-step deployment procedures, we ensure that the entire team understands complex project logic. Well-documented projects are infinitely easier to maintain and to onboard new team members onto. Section 5. Automation tools for quality. Letting the machines do the heavy lifting. So how do we keep up with all this without losing our minds? Modern teams use essential automation tools to help maintain these high-code quality standards completely effortlessly. We use linters to detect style violations as we type. We use formatters to automatically fix our spacing and indentation every single time we save a file. We integrate static analyzers to find potential bugs before the code even runs, and security scanners to automatically flag risks. Basically, by letting the machines do the heavy lifting of enforcing the rules, you can spend your valuable mental energy on solving actual business problems. Section 6, the Clean Code Checklist. Let's talk about your daily habits for success. Let's build all of this into your daily routine. Every time you sit down at your keyboard, run through this daily developer checklist. Are you writing self-documenting code with consistent, clear naming conventions? Are your functions small and focused on a single responsibility? Have you actively eliminated duplication using the dry principle? Are you rigorously validating user input to keep the application secure? And finally, are you communicating your changes with clear, meaningful commit messages? Adopting these habits early on is exactly what separates a beginner from a true, highly respected professional. Because look, anyone can write code that temporarily works, but it takes a professional to write code that is clean, readable, maintainable, and secure. So as you step confidently into your new role today, I want to leave you with this final thought. Are you ready to stop just writing code and start writing code that others can confidently build on? Keep these standards close, stick to those daily habits, and you are going to have an incredibly successful career ahead of you. Let's get to work.
If you enjoyed this video and learned something new, like this video, comment your favorite programming language, subscribe to Future Break Coder, because many exciting coding and futuristic tech videos are coming soon.